Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning everyone and a very warm welcome. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Principal of Islamic Junior High School of 26 Al-Azhar Yogyakarta, Mr. Agung Widiantoro, Master of Education, Thailand's guest teacher and keynote speaker in this agenda, Mr. Sakrit Hasan, Master of Education from Nawamintra Cinutit Benjamaracalai School, all bilingual teachers who have prepared today's agenda, and all my beloved bilingual students. Let's say many thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, who has given us mercy and blessing, chance and health, gather in this Zoom meeting room. Salawat and salam unforgettable sent to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the brightness, so we are always in the right way. May peace and Allah blessing be upon you all. Before we start today's agenda, please say Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, all bilingual students and all bilingual teachers, without further ado, I would like to welcome our principal. He will deliver an opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, bilingual students and teachers, please welcome Mr. Agung Widiantoro. The floor is yours. Okay, class, everybody please wait because Pak Agung still have a problem in his video camera. Please wait for a moment. Okay, let me repeat again. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our principal. He will deliver an opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, bilingual students and teachers, please welcome Mr. Agung Widiantoro. The floor is yours, Mr. Agung.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Fajar atas waktunya hari ini ya. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala, wa la hawla wa la quwata illa billah, amma ba'd. The Honorable Mr. Sakrit Hasan, first let us be grateful in the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for giving us healthy faith and kindness, so that this morning we can follow the event with Mr. Sakrit Hasan. Recite salawat and salam to the Prophet Muhammad and hope that this syafaat reach us all in Yaumul Hisab. Hello, good morning, Mr. Sakrit.
Good morning.
Yes.
Selamat pagi.
Ya, selamat pagi. Swadingkram. Ya. Okay. Do you still remember me?
Yeah, I remember you. All of you who come to our school.
Yes.
2 years ago.
Yes, 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Yes. 2 years ago, I and 3 others teachers
Yeah.
have visited
Yeah.
your school.
Yeah.
It was a most memorable experience.
You're right.
Yes. Your school is cool, big and spacious.
Yeah, something has changed for our school now because we have just finished painting the building from light color to red color. Yeah, I'm gonna show you my new building later.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a new. It's not new. It's not new building, but we have just painted the color, the new color.
Okay. You know, Mr. Sakit, the unforgettable things is to eat seafood in a restaurant near the beach. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
To all my students, to my bilingual students, in this globalization era, it's important for us, especially for students, to have globalization awareness. Yeah. We need to realize that we can't stay and live comfortable forever. We all need to adapt by this changing world in the future.
You're right.
Yes. Today we have Mr. Shakret as our guest teacher speaker to share this experience about living as a Muslim in Bangkok, Thailand. It is not always easy to live as a Muslim in a foreign countries. There are many challenging aspects to face. You all have to feel relief to live as a Muslim in Indonesia, where we can easily find mosques everywhere, and we can eat halal food as much as we can. Comparing to live as a Muslim in Thailand, you may find many difficulties to try and eat halal food there. For my beloved students, this event is created to broaden your knowledge. We hope that by joining this Zoom meeting, you will have a global perspective about understanding others' cultures. Last but not least, enjoy this session and get as much as knowledge you can. Thank you, Mr. Sakit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very
Waalaikumsalam.
much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agung Widiantoro, for nice speech. Mr. Sakrit, welcome to Yogyakarta of Indonesia. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all amazing, humble teachers, and all of my lovely bilingual students. So to welcome all of you to this meaningful occasion, before we start the agenda, allow me to introduce our keynote speaker. Here is his curriculum vitae. Name, Sakrit Hasan. Position, Head of Foreign Language Department, Nawamintra Chinutit Benjamarachalai School, Bangkok, Thailand. Work experience, work as a French teacher, an English teacher, a speaker, and a content specialist for the student books. Education, master's degree in education, training and social mutation, engineering and professionalism, University of Caen, Normandy, France. Bachelor degree in French language, Chiang Mai University, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Okay, for bilingual students information, our keynote speaker is invited to have a presentation or sharing experience about Thailand, Land of Smile, or living of Muslim in Thailand for about 45 minutes, and after that, the audience or students may respond or ask questions for the speaker after the presentation are done. To avoid the disturbance, please don't leave the room in the middle of presentation, and please change the mode of your Zoom meeting into mute mode. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Sakrit Hasan from Thailand. Mr. Sakrit, floor is yours.
Giving applause.
Thank you
Giving
much
applause,
for
everybody.
inviting me to be a guest speaker today. Ask the question, it is clear.
Yes.
When I'm speaking, it is clear for all of you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much again. Right. Ask you some question. All of Indonesian students now are staying home. No need for them to go to school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully this situation will be disappear, in the future as soon as possible. Okay. All right. Okay, shall we start? I need to share screen, but okay. Sorry. Is it possible? I want to use my own presentation. But host disable participant screen sharing.
Okay, Mr. Secret, have you, okay, Mr. Secret have shared the material, yeah? Okay. Okay, students, please pay attention to Mr. Secret's slide.
I want to use my own presentation now. So, but now I can't show my presentation. When I click share screen, how can I say? It is like a host disable participant screen sharing. I don't know what happened.
Okay, Mr. Secret, you can share the materials from Thailand now.
Yes.
Our administrator have allow you to share the materials.
Okay. Please wait. Okay, all right. Okay, welcome back to our presentation. Today, I would like to present Thailand for overview before letting you know about Thai Muslim in Thailand. Okay, when it's come to Thailand, we normally call Thailand the land of smile. Why is Thailand known as the land of smile? It is like a nickname of the country because Thailand has become one of the biggest tourist destinations in Asia. Many tourists, coming to Thailand for traveling, for living, for eating. Why is Thailand known as the land of smiles? Because a smile is much more than just a smile. It is a form of subtle interpersonal messaging. When we are so happy, when we are sad, when we are crying, we still smile. It is polite to smile at somebody. And for example, if you don't like them, if you don't like this person, however, we still smile. That is our characteristic. It is polite to smile at someone. Smiling is like something to show you that you admire other people, even though you don't like each other. However, okay, you still smile. That's why when tourists coming to Thailand, they can see that most of Thai people like smiling, even though okay we have never known each other before, but we still smile. For example, when you go to the market to buy something, like you want to go to the market and buy some fruits, fruit seller always smile at you talk to you, greeting, or ask you some questions. That is our characteristic. Okay, this is like a description of Thailand in brief. The capital city of Thailand is Bangkok. All of you know that Bangkok is the capital city of Thailand. We use Thai baht, that is our currency. We have our own currency, that is Thai baht. When it comes to spoken language, we have 4 dialects, depend on each region, because we have divided our country into 4 regions: the northern region, the southern region, the west, the northeast region, and the west region. Depend on each regions. However, our official language is Thai. Okay, Thailand is often called land of smile because a lot of people like smiling. Okay, when it comes to population, the current population of Thailand is around 66.5 millions. When we compare to Indonesia, different, completely. How many people, in Indonesia? When we talk about the population, it's around 200 millions, right?
200 millions, yes.
Yeah, 200 millions. Okay, all right. It is clear for all of you when I'm speaking.
Yes. Clear.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's proceed. The current population of Thailand is around 66.5 millions. And when we talk about the ethnic, groups in Thailand, because Thailand contains more than 30 ethnic groups. I think each country in ASEAN, not we have many ethnic groups in one country. Like Indonesia, you can see that there are some huge tribes. There are some ethnics in the forest, in the islands, in Indonesia. Yeah, so do I. Like in Thailand, there are around 30 ethnic groups. Varying in history, language, religion, appearance, and patterns of livelihood, different lifestyle. When we talk about ethnic groups, in Thailand, we can divide into 3 major groups, and 3 minor groups. The major groups, of ethnic groups in Thailand, that is Siamese, Lao, Chao Pak Thai. Siamese is the main, population of people in Thailand. When it comes to Siamese, it means Thai people who living in the central region. And we have minor, it's like a Puthai, Shan, Lu. We can find these ethnic groups, in the north of Thailand and in the northeast of Thailand. And when we talk about other ethnic groups, in Thailand, Chinese is mainly migrants who are engaged, in business and do, commerce, run business, in Thailand. When we look back on the past over 200 years ago. Not only Chinese, but also Malay, including Indonesian. It is called Shavanis. We don't say Indonesian because just only one ethnic from Indonesia came to Thailand and settled, live in Thailand over 200 years ago. Most of them are Shavanis. Malays and Javanese are found in the southern peninsula, especially in the south of Thailand, near the border. It is like the bordering, provinces between Thailand and Malaysia. Most of them can speak Thai, can speak Malay, and they have their own language. It is similar to Malay, but it's not official Malay. It's not standard Malay language. It's like a local Malay, just for some provinces in Thailand, especially in the south of Thailand. Not only Malay, but also Khmer. When it's come to Khmer, Khmer is like one ethnic groups in Cambodia. We can see the people who are speaking Cambodian living in the bordering city, the bordering provinces in the northeast of Thailand. It is called Mekong. Mekong to Gulf. Mekong is the river. It's like a main river in the northeast of Thailand. There are 4 countries, who are using this river for living, such as Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and China, and also other ethnic groups like American, Indian, Akha, Musa, Mel, Khamuk, Tin, Lawa. These are like a huge tribes of people who living in the mountains. Basically, 75% of Thai people are Siamese. When talking about Thailand, you have to know that Thailand is a kingdom. It's a constitutional monarchy based on parliamentary democracy. We have our own king. But now the current king is King Rama X. King Rama IX, who passed away 4 or 5 years ago. But now his son, became a king. This person is the current king of Thailand now. But he's living in Germany. He's not living in Thailand. That is like something surprising to Thai people. How we don't? Why don't you living in Thailand? Why don't you live in Germany? It's like a politics, If you follow the news from Thailand, it's like something viral, in social media. Like many Thai people, want the king to do something, want the king take action. As the king, you have to do your duty as a king. Like, okay, you have to take care of the people, living with the people. On the other hand, he's living in Germany. Follow the news. It's like something terrible in Thailand. Hopefully everything will be okay in the future, because now there are many people, especially teenagers, especially students, who fight against the king. Like, okay, they claim that, okay, the king should stay in Thailand, the king should help people, the king should donate to the poor people. But now the king, living and spend, a lot of money in Germany. Yeah, that is politics. Okay, I'm not talking about this anymore. Yeah, just like describe, about, the kingdom in Thailand. Okay, when it's come to culture and belief, most of Thailand's culture comes from the ethnic Thai people. As I talk about, the ethnic groups. The main ethnic group is Siamese. That's why, most of Thailand's culture comes from the ethnic Thai people. Now, most influence on Thai culture has been Buddhism. Basically, most of Thai people believe in Buddhism. That's why almost Thai culture belong to Buddhism. Okay, when it's come to the population in Thailand, as I talk about, the population in Thailand, they are 66.5 millions. About the religion in Thailand. Religion in Thailand has a fascinating cultural history that can be seen through the many sacred places and temples. When you visit Thailand, you can see many temples. You can see many Buddhist temples. Last time when our Yogyakarta, came to our school, we had the opportunity to take the student from Yogyakarta to visit, many temples, 3 or 4 temples, in Bangkok. Religion in Thailand has a fascinating, cultural history, and you can see many sacred places and temples, excluding the law that states, excluding the law that states the king must be Buddhist. However, there is no official Thailand religion, meaning all Thai people enjoy religion freedom. We respect each other. Depends on each person who select the religion, who believe, in what they want to believe. However, Buddhism is the most common Thai religion, with approximately 93.5%. That is the main religion in Thailand, because over 90%, is Buddhism. However, the remaining population follow Moslem, Christianity, and other. When it comes to Islam, they are 5.4% in Thailand, and the remaining population follow Christianity is around 1.1. Another just 0.1, like a Hinduism, Jewish, or other believers, or people who believe in spirits, especially people who living in the mountain. They are still believe in spirit. They are still believe in the nature, something like this. All right. When talking about economy, one of the most successful economies of Thailand, that is agricultural products, because when it's come to Thailand, we are the main country in Southeast Asia who produce something like agricultural products, food, and also tourism. When you go to Thailand, you can enjoy eating, because there are many how can I say, many fruits, many vegetables, many like green products, as well as tourism. Okay, when you visit Thailand, the first thing you have to know, that is food. Normally when you visit some places, you normally like to eat the local food. There are 5 fundamental tastes when you go to Thailand. When you visit Thailand, you have to know our taste, our food, how that is taste. Basically, there are 5 or 4 tastes in Thailand. Spicy, salty, sour, sweet, and bitter, like an Indonesian food. However, we normally focus on spicy. When you go to Thailand, you can notice that most of Thai people like eating something spicy, a little bit salty and sour. That is the main taste for Thai people. That is spicy and sour. However, depend on each region, because for example, when you go to the north of Thailand, most of northern people like Chiang Mai. I was born in Chiang Mai. I'm from Chiang Mai before moving to Bangkok. Most of people in the north of Thailand like eating something salty, bitter, and spicy, but not sweet. It is hard to find something sweet in the north of Thailand. On the other hand, when you go to Bangkok or some cities in the central region, most of people like eating something sweet, salty, different from the northeast of people. When you go to some provinces in the northeast of Thailand, they like to eat something spicy, salty, and sour. I recommend you to taste their great dishes. The one I'm showing you now, that is Tom Yum Goong. When it comes to Tom Yum, I know that all of you know when we talk about Tom Yum Goong. It's like a spicy soup with shrimp, or however we can put other materials, other meat like chicken, fish, seafood. However, we normally say Tom Yum Goong. We normally call this dish that is Tom Yum Goong. It's very spicy and sour. Another main dish for Thai people, that is Pad Thai, but it's like a spaghetti or noodles, like a stir-fry noodles with shrimp or seafood. You can sprinkle lime juice onto Pad Thai, mixed together with peanuts or chili paste or chili powder. The taste is quite spicy and a little bit sour, a little bit sweet. The last one, that is som tam. Som tam is like it is called papaya salad, spicy papaya salad. When we're talking about papaya salad, it reminds me of gado gado from Indonesia. Gado gado is like a salad with peanut sauce. It's very delicious and very unique for Indonesia. I had the opportunity to eat gado gado. That's why it is like a main dish for the locals, like for Indonesian. That's why when it's come to som tam, it is like a main dish for Thai people. We normally eat this in our meal. Very spicy, very sour. I recommend you some some dishes already, but there is another well-known food, that is masaman. When you go to Thailand, you have to visit restaurant and order this menu, some Tom Yum Goong, som tam, and masaman. It is similar to some curry in Indonesia, because I'm going to tell you later about masaman. Masaman is like a mixed. It's like a mixed culture food. It's like a it is from India and China, like a mix. It's like a good combination, from two countries to make it into our own food. That is like India and China, had influence for Thai food. That's why we have our own food, like a spicy and oily, sometimes sour, bitter, because of influence of some countries like India and China. All right, from now on we're going to talk about Thai etiquette. Just want you to know our culture when you probably visit Thailand one day in the future. we have to do dress properly when we have to go to the official office, like we want to contact uh, other people, in the government section. When you go to the municipality, or like you go to school, public school, or like you go to the court, you have to do dress properly. Even though, okay, you're a foreigner and you visit Thailand, you have to dress properly. Or you want to visit the temples, if you wear short skirt, mini skirt, you are not allowed to enter this place anymore. It's our rules. Do take off your shoes when you enter the religious places, like when you go to the temples or you go to the mosque in Thailand. Basically, you have to take off your shoes before entering the places. And the last one that is very important, Thai people, strongly believe that this is not allowed for all of you. It's not allowed for all of us to touch a person's head. So when we are not allowed to push us to touch or to do something, on the person's head. It's not proper. It's not polite. That's why we have to show respect to the elders. All right. Okay. As I talk about the religion, even though Buddhism is the most common Thailand religion, in Thailand. However, okay, when it's come to Thai Muslim, it's like the second religion, in Thailand. They are around 4%, 5% in Thailand. There are officially 3,943 mosques in Thailand. Quite different from Indonesia. How many mosques in Indonesia? Did you know? Over 10,000, I suppose. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you, Mr.
Okay. How many mosques in Indonesia? Do you know?
Maybe around 1 million.
I think you know.
Maybe it's around 1 million. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. It's so many mosques in Indonesia. More than 1
1
million,
million
maybe.
mosque?
More than 1 million, maybe.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Many mosques, oh my goodness. Yeah. I had the opportunity to watch, some documentary on Indonesia. They are some islands, There are 3,000 mosques in one island. Wow. Many mosques, different from Thailand, basically, they are officially around 3,000 mosques in Thailand. However, I suppose there are over 3,000 mosques in Thailand, but it's like a musalla. Do you know musalla? Or like a small mosque, an official mosque. It's like when whoever want to build the mosque, in Thailand, they have to ask for the permission from the government. However, there are some hidden mosque. It's like it is we don't call that this is a mosque, but it's like a balaa or musalla. It's something like this. I suppose there are over 3,000 in Thailand. Okay, when it comes to Thai Muslim ethnic groups, I have to focus on in Thailand to make that who am I? Who are they? It's not that okay, they are Thai. Just want you to know their ancestor came from. Thailand Muslim population is diverse, with ethnic groups.
Dia bilang slow. Tadi tuh jadi nggak bisa.
Okay, students, just wait for Mr. Sakrit connection because Mr. Sakrit has some trouble here. Please still focus and pay attention. Please wait for a moment.
Bocah-bocah malah udah ngechat nggak penting sebelum aku. Kok aku nggak bisa sih? Nah, anak-anak disuruhin aja tuh.
Okay, students, bilingual students, maybe you can prepare some questions to Mr. Sakrit. Here, Mr. Sakrit has online again. Okay, Mr. Sakrit, is the connection is okay?
Di bawah. Masuk.
Hello?
Okay, Mr. Sakrit, you can
Okay.
continue your presentation.
Okay, can I proceed? Hey guys, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna proceed, my presentation. Okay. When it's come to Thailand Muslim population, it's diverse, with ethnic groups. I divided into 4 main groups, in Thailand. Oh, sorry, 3 groups. Four groups, in Thailand. The first, Muslim ethnic groups, in Thailand is China. The second one is, people from the south of Asia, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. The third one is Malaysia and Indonesia. And the last one is, the local people, ethnic Thais. Okay, the first group is Thai Chinese Muslim. Most Muslims belong to a group of people called Hua in Thailand. You can, when it's come to Thai people, we say Jin Ho. Jin is mean China. Jin Ho is the main Thai Chinese Muslim group, in the north of Thailand. You can see Thai Chinese Muslim in the north of Thailand, like in North Thailand. Yeah, I come from Chiang Mai. My grandmother, is Chinese Muslim, and my grandfather is Indian Muslim. That's why in my family I have Thai Chinese Indian Muslim in my family. If you want to know about Thai Chinese Muslim, you can go to Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is the big city in the north of Thailand. Okay, next, Thai Indian Muslim or Thai Bangladesh Muslim. That is the second Muslim ethnic in Thailand. You can see Thai Indian Muslim all over Thailand, especially in the north of Thailand and in the central region, like in Bangkok or other provinces in in the central region. Uh-huh. You can see this photo. This is from Chiang Mai. You can see that Indian people, in the past, maybe 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, they came to Thailand to run business, to do some business, to do commerce, in Thailand, and marry the local. You can see this local, like they marry local women and have children. The local converted to Islam and live together as Muslim. Most of Thai Indian Muslim, living together in the community. This photo is like how can I say? She is Thai Indian Muslim and she's very well known, in Thailand. It's like a net idol, very very famous, in Thailand. Okay, next, that is Malay Muslim. About 80% of Thai Muslim population is Malay. Their ancestors, are Malay. As I talked to you before, you can see Muslim, in Thailand, especially the south of Thailand, especially the bordering provinces, like the province between Thailand and Malaysia. That's why most of Muslim people in Thailand, about 80%, are Thai Malay Muslims. You can see there are some Muslim school in the south of Thailand. It is called Pono. It's like a religious school. They have to wear, like a Muslim uniform like this. We can see, Muslim school, in the south of Thailand. There are many religious Muslim school in the south of Thailand. And okay, I'm gonna explain more about Thai Shavanis Muslim. As I talk to you about Thai ethnic groups, I mentioned that most of Indonesian people who settle, who live in Thailand for long time, when look back on the past over 200 years ago, most of them were Javanis. It's not Indonesian. Yeah, we say Javanis. Thai Javanis Muslim. There are Javanis communities in Bangkok. There are 4 or 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 Javanis communities in Bangkok. You can see 5 mosques. 5 Indonesian mosques in Bangkok. You can see the agricultural style, the agriculture of Shawanese mosque, something like this. I'm not sure, but it's not Thai style. And they still follow, some tradition from Java, like food or dessert, like this. It's like a tracing Java influence on Thai culinary. If you want to taste, some Javanese, taste in Thailand, you have to visit, some Javanese community in Thailand. That is tracing Java influence on Thai culinary. I'm not sure how can they call in Indonesia, but it is called kukara Kukara. You can see this in Indonesia. You can see this dessert in Indonesia.
Apa? Sorry?
You can see, this dessert in Indonesia.
I'm sorry, we cannot see your share
Yeah.
screen right now.
Really?
Yes,
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
it's okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You can see my presentation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
That is
clearly. Thank you.
okay. Okay. Proceed. That is Thai Shawanese Muslim. It's like a tracing. Sorry, tracing Shawar's influence on Thai food. If you visit, some Indonesian communities in Thailand, in Bangkok, you can see, some tracing Shawar's influence on Thai food like this. You can see this in Indonesia. What is it? How can they call it in Indonesia?
I'm not really sure, but my friends tell me that there's kind of kue cucur.
Yeah, kue.
Cucur.
Yeah. Something like this. Yeah,
Ah.
you can see this. Yeah, kue. I don't know how can pronounce this word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Thailand it is called joro. We call joro.
Choro.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same name with the
Oh,
kue in Indonesia, choro.
oh really?
Yeah.
That is a tracing food, from Indonesia. In Thailand. Yeah.
Is it sweet?
Sweet and oily because they normally put pandan,
Okay. Sweet
and
oily.
coconut milk. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, we love it. But to be honest, I has never known that this is Indonesian food before. Yeah, I have just known that this is from Indonesia. Yeah. And when it's come to the uniqueness of Thai Muslim food, that is Thai halal cuisine. It's very popular, in Thailand. We how to say, we focus on halal food, for tourists, because there are many tourists, coming to Thailand. That's why the government realized that halal food is the best, how can I say, the best food for people around the world. That's why the government, support manufacturers, support the owner of factory to produce halal food, and import, this product to other countries. However, when we compare to Indonesia, when it's come to halal production, maybe we are the second country in Asia to produce halal products for the world. It's very various and tasty when we talk about Thai Muslim food. You can see this photo, Muslim ladies selling, some curry, some Thai food. You can see this, in Bangkok. All right, I'm gonna recommend you, some Thai food, some Thai Muslim food. That is khao soi.
Cow soy. Okay.
Yes, khao soi. If you want to taste, if you want to eat this, we have to go to the north of Thailand. It is like the trace of Chinese culture. the trace of Chinese Muslim culture in the past. It is like a noodles with it's like a curry noodles with coconut milk. This is a chicken khao soi. It's like a how can I call? Do you know laksa from
Malaysia.
Singapore or Malaysia?
Yeah,
Yes.
laksa from Malaysia.
It's similar but different taste. It's not the same taste. To be honest, I personally think that khao soi is more delicious than laksa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the taste is not sweet. It's not too much sweet. It's not too spicy. I love it. Yeah, it's like a curry noodles, something like this. And next, that is budding cake. Sorry. Okay, wait.
Ini kayak
You can see the presentation?
Yes.
clearly.
Okay. Yeah, okay. This is budding cake. I think there are few people who know that is Moslem cake, Thai Moslem cake. That is budding cake is like the king. It is called King Rama's 5 cake because it's like a combination between Thai Muslim ethnics, in Thailand, like from India, from Malay, from some ethnic Thai, and make it into their own cake. If you know butter cake, do you know butter cake, right? Butter cake. It is like a butter cake, but it's not soft. It's hard. The texture of this cake is hard. It's made of ghee. Do you know ghee? Ghee is like a one type of butter. That is called budding cake. You can find this in the Muslim community in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. The taste is very tasty and different from butter cake, different from ordinary butter cake in the market or in the supermarket. Yeah. If I had the opportunity, I'm gonna send this to you in Indonesia one day. Yeah. Just want you to taste, something different.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, what's the?
Yeah. Next, there is Masaman. CNN News, name Thailand's Masaman curry. That is the world's best food, and describe it as the king of curries, and perhaps the king of all foods. 3 years ago, Masaman was the first favorite food for tourists around the world. Yeah, 3 years ago, Masaman, was the first food. Was the first base food, for people around the world. Because of strong flavor. The dish, masterfully blends spicy, coconut, sweet, and soury flavors. It is like, I think it's like some curry in Indonesia, because it's similar. You can see this, in Indonesia, but different taste. But I think the same culture. It is the same culture, the same thing in the past, because masaman is like like the food from Malay, from Indonesia, or from India and Chinese. I'm not sure, but the taste is like rendang. I'm not sure. Do you know rendang?
Yes, from Padang.
My favorite.
Something like this. I'm not sure, but in Thailand we normally put some tamarind. Yeah, peanuts, potatoes. Yeah, something like this. I had the opportunity to see this in Indonesia, but how can I say, the figure something like this. The taste is more sweet. In Indonesia, more sweet than masaman, but the taste is similar. The taste is similar. I don't know how can they call in Indonesia. Yeah. Can you guess it? What is it in Indonesia?
Maybe opor ayam, maybe. Something.
I think it is rendang.
Yeah, something like
you
this.
said.
It's like the ingredients, the main ingredients are how can I say, chili paste, coconut milk. I'm not sure, and some herbal plants like cinnamon, yeah, and peanuts, potatoes, yeah, something like this. To make it into masaman. Yeah, just if you want to know how to do, you can surf the internet and search for the ingredients or recipe how to make masaman. And this one, when you see this picture, can you guess it? What is it? Like
a gado-gado.
Indonesian food.
Yeah.
Gado-gado.
Gado-gado.
Yeah, it is like a gado-gado. Gado-gado, but the taste is similar, but different taste. That is like the trace from Indonesia in Thailand. We call salad kek. Salad kek. It's similar to gado-gado. It's like a salad, with tofu, tomato, eggs, and some potato chips, with peanut sauce. That is gado-gado, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is gado-gado. But the taste is not much sweet, and spicy a little bit. Yeah, that is called salad kek. And this one, it is called kamo. Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, this is kamo. That is a yellow rice with chicken. I think you can see this in Indonesia.
Yeah, of
I'm not
course.
sure,
Yeah.
but it's very famous, in Thailand. It is called kamo. Cow, it means rice. In Thailand we call cow. Kamo, it means yellow rice. That is Muslim food, Thai Muslim food. You can see this in Thailand. All over Thailand, you can see kamo. And the last one is la tiang. That is Thai royal appetizer. It is hard to eat this, It is hard to find this in the market, in the restaurant, in the supermarket, because that is Thai royal appetizer. Just for the royal families in the past. It is like a canapé. Canapé is like an appetizer, for Thai royal families. It is called latiang. That is the food from. It's like these foods were influenced by Persian, by Iran. Yeah. That is the food from. It's not the food from Persia. Do you know Persia? Yeah. Iran. Yeah. Latiang was influenced by Persian kingdom in the past. But Thai people, in the past, make it into Thai food. Like they put something like a Thai herbal plants. They put something like chicken, or like they put some Thai spices like peppers, cumin, something like this. Yeah, that is Thai Muslim food. Okay, All right, how to find halal food, in Thailand. But actually, when you visit Thailand, it's not hard. It's not difficult for you to find halal food in Thailand. The first one, you have to notice, this label. When you go to supermarket, when you go to 7-Eleven, is there any 7-Eleven convenience stores in Indonesia?
Yeah, we can find it in Jakarta.
Yeah, there are many 7-Eleven, in Thailand. Over 4,000 branches, of 7-Eleven in Thailand, and you can find, many halal food, many halal products, in these convenience stores. The first thing you have to notice this label. This label from the Islamic Committee Office of Thailand. There are many products, with the logo, halal logo, when you go to the supermarkets, especially 7-Eleven, or other convenience stores. You have to notice the logo. Many halal products, in the supermarket. No need for you to look for the restaurant. When you want to grab something easily, you just go to the convenience store. You just go to the supermarket and look for this logo. And some branches of 7-Eleven, some 7-Eleven in Thailand, you can see halal shelf, halal refrigerator. They normally divide it, separately from non-halal products. Many halal like products, in the supermarket. That's why very easy for you to find this. So when you go to Thailand and you want to eat halal food, the first thing you just search from Google to know the restaurant. How many Muslim restaurants in Bangkok? For example, when you go to some places, in Bangkok, you just use GPS, or you can search, from Google to know, okay, the location where you stay. Is there any Muslim restaurant in that area? And you just follow the address. So you can find many Thai Muslim restaurant in Thailand, especially in Bangkok, especially in the central regions. However, when you go to the north of Thailand, or when you go to the northeast of Thailand, so you have to search from Google, because there are many restaurants, but it's not many. There are many restaurants, but it is hard to find some, like for example, when you go to Chiang Mai, and you have to know that, okay, the location where you're staying, is there any Thai Muslim restaurant? You have to, because not all locations, in Chiang Mai or in the north of Thailand, you can find Thai halal restaurant. But if you stay in Bangkok, all locations, all places, or the zones, all of the zone in Bangkok, you can find, Thai halal restaurant, in Bangkok. Okay, that is my presentation for Thailand and Muslim in Thailand. Is there any questions?
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Sakrit. Thanks in million for the informative, interesting, and very nice presentation. Here is some points for Mr. Sakrit presentation, that Thailand is land of smiles, just like Keenan Hansen movies in 2016. Smile means admire other peoples, have a deep meaning interpersonal messaging, and then Thailand have 4 dialects spoken language, just like Indonesia, multicultural, multi-religion, multi-ethnic groups, multi-foods, and then the foods is just Pak Agung, Pak Budi, and Miss Pitra have ever said that very strong in herbs and very strong in seasoning. It means in Indonesia, rempah-rempahnya sangat kuat, very strong in seasoning. And then one of central industrial country in Southeast Asia. And then one of the beautiful from Thailand that I know from Leonardo DiCaprio movie 2000 entitled Beach, that is Thai island of Kopi Pili, very successful movie at that time. Okay,
Right.
very well, students. Now we come to the question and answer session. There will be 3 sessions, and each session is for 2 questions. Please mention your name and your class and state your question directly. Okay ya? Try to speak with Mr. Sakrit directly. Speak up. Show your voice. You can raise up your hand. Come on. If you want to ask, you can raise up your hand. Just click it.
Sakrit, would you please do stop share screen?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, students, bilingual students, all, you can ask question to Mr. Sakrit in relation Thailand or school in Thailand or Muslim in Thailand, everything. Okay, Mas Farel Orfin from 7A.
Hi Farel. Udah? Farel, can you hear my voice? 7A, Farel from 7A, right?
Okay, Mas Farel from 7A. You can start to ask the questions.
Farel Orfin, age 7A. Ini ada.
Yes. Are there any difficulties? Are there any times when you almost ate something that was not halal? Are there any times that you almost ate something that was not halal? Like accidentally?
Sorry, Mas Farel, can you repeat your questions one more time because you have unclear voices? Please repeat your question, Mas Farel.
Are there yeah.
Okay, Mas Farel, you have low connection. You can type your question in the chat. You can type it. Okay. While Mr. Farel, Mas Farel type the question, please the other student ask one more question in this session. One more question, please. You can raise up your hand. Okay, Mas Farel, the position of Mas Farel now is in Lampung. Okay. Okay, questions from Mas Farel to Mr. Sakrit. Mr. Sakrit, in Thailand, honestly, frankly, have you ever eaten not halal food in Thailand? And what did you then at that time?
They almost
Almost
how
ate
can I say?
something that was not halal.
For sure, because how can I say? I think it's like something happened to Thai Muslim, live in Thailand. It's hard for us, to find halal food for all the time. Sometimes, how can I say, when like my friends or some people offer food to me, give the food to me, and they say that, oh, this is chicken, that is fish, you can eat it, no pork, and when we said, okay, no pork, okay, I eat it. However, finally, I know that, okay, they put something non-halal like alcohol, like they put something like pork powder, something like this. That's why I think it's normal, for Thai Muslim, to encounter this situation, in Thailand.
Okay, thank
Got
you.
it? Do you understand my point?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Sakrit. So, Mas Farel, it's a normal situation when we eat non-halal food because sometimes the restaurant in Thailand put something non-halal food. For example, pork slices. So even we don't know it's halal or not. So you just if we find pork slices, just leave it. Gitu. Tinggalin aja maksudnya. Gak usah dimakan. Don't eat it. Because something normal when you find non-halal food. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions, please? You can raise up your hand. If you feel shy, okay, Mas Zaki Raulando. Mas Zaki Raulando. Okay, you can speak up.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mr. Shakrit, is it easy to find mosque in Thailand?
Okay, all right. It is easy to find mosque in Thailand. Depends on each region. For example, if you visit the provinces in the south of Thailand, you can find many mosques. In the south of Thailand, over 1,000 mosques, in the south of Thailand. Or Bangkok, there are many mosques, in Bangkok. However, when you go to the north of Thailand or you go to the northeast of Thailand, there are few mosques, in these regions. So if you visit Thailand and you have to pray at the mosque, you have to check or search from Google, like okay, for example, where you're staying now, is there any mosque in this area? Is there any mosque in this zone? It's very easy for you to find mosque in Thailand, I think, but not all regions. Just some region like the central region and the south of region. It's easy to find the mosque.
Okay, Mas
Okay,
Zaki
thank
Raulando.
you.
Can you get the point? Okay. The next is session 2. Two more questions. Please raise up your hand if you want to ask. Just now, Mas Tristan ya, Mas Tristan.
Okay. Mm, mm.
Okay, Mas Tristan, speak up.
Yes, I want to thinking about
Type aja.
Mas
how to
Tristan,
find beach in Thailand.
would you better type your question because you have echo voices. Your voices make echoing. Please type, better for you to type your questions.
Yes.
Yes, type your question.
Yes.
Okay ya? Okay. The second question from the second session, please raise up your hand. Oke, Mbak Fasya Naila.
Kakak ini angkat tangan.
Hai Fasya.
Halo Fasya.
Hai Fasya. Udah.
Oke, Mbak Fasya, try to speak. Come on, try to speak.
Hello, I'd like to ask, which is the most recommended place to go when you have a holiday in Thailand with your family?
Okay. Actually, there are many tourist destinations, in Thailand. Depends on you. If you want to go to, for example, if you go to Bangkok, I recommend you to go to Wat Phra Kaew. It is called in English Thai Royal Palace. Thai Royal Palace. It is like a palace, but they are temples in the palace. It's like the empire of the king in the past. So I recommend you to go to this place. Another places, actually there are many places that interesting for tourists to go to Bangkok. Not only Thai Royal Palace. You can go to Wat Po. Wat Po. It is called in English that is the Grand Temple. The Grand Temple. Most of people have no idea. Okay, what is it? When we say the Grand Temple.
Thank you very much.
And actually, if you want to go to somewhere else, you have to check that what you want to go, what you want to see. For example, you want to go to the beach. There are many beaches, in the south of Thailand. If you want to go to the mountains, there are many interesting places in the north of Thailand. Because in the north of Thailand, we have no sea. There is no sea. There is no ocean. Just mountains. But if you want to go to the islands, if you want to go to the beaches, you have to go to the south of Thailand. Many different places, interesting in Thailand. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sakret, my questions, continuing question from Fasya. Is the local government have opened the local tourism object in Thailand? Or the tourism object still closed right now because of COVID-19?
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you say. One more time.
Okay, is the local government has opened officially the tourism object located in Thailand, and can the tourists from overseas go to Thailand or still locked down in Thailand because of COVID-19 right now?
Okay, when it's come to COVID-19 situation in Thailand, it's very lucky for Thai people because we can handle this situation. We can handle with this situation. The government can control the spread of COVID-19 in Thailand. there is no cases. There are no cases of COVID-19 in Thailand now. Just some, some Thai people who has just came back from other countries. When they came to Thailand, when they came back to Thailand, when they went back to Thailand, they have to be in quarantine for 14 days. The government will provide the specific place for people who came from other countries. They have to be quarantined. They have to be in quarantine for 14 days to check their body, to check their symptom, and to check their COVID-19 investigation. If they have no case, if they have no, if they don't affect COVID-19, okay, the government will let them, go home. But now there is no lockdown in Thailand. There is no lockdown in Thailand. We can live as usual. However, according to the measurement of Thai government, we have to wear masks, when we get out of the house, when we go to school. But now in Thailand, we open officially the school. All school, the student can come to school, as usual, normally. However, okay, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to have the space together. We have to keep social distancing. For example, basically there are 40 students in class. We have to separate the desks. We don't, sit together. That is like a new normal for us. As for tourism in Thailand, now the government encourage Thai people to travel in Thailand. Like they give some discount for hotel. They give some discount for air flight ticket, just for Thai people only. As for tourist people from other countries, but now we are not allowed, they are not allowed to go to Thailand now. However, next month, according to the new agenda from the government, next month, the parliament of Thailand, the politician, or like the ministry of the prime minister of Thailand, he says that he gonna open the country next month to welcome or to embrace tourists from other countries to Thailand, but not all countries. Just like they're gonna consider which country there are still many people who are affected from COVID-19. Okay, they are not allowed to go to Thailand, except some countries like, for example, China. But now there are few people in China who affect COVID-19. It's probable for them to visit Thailand in the future. I'm not sure. Just like the rumor from the government.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sakrit. Before go to Mas Tristan question, I have one more question, Mr. Sakrit, related to school. Actually, Indonesia student keep study at home from the beginning of March till now, till today. Maybe they have boredom stadium 4 because they cannot allow go to school till now by the general government. Okay, Mr. Sakrit, the situation in Thailand right now, is the student allowed to go to school or 50-50?
Okay, but actually we have just came back to the normal situation just 1 month or 2 months ago. Before when the government decided to open the school, we use this way how to solve this problem. We don't let all students to come to school. Just for example, one class, there are 40 students. We have to separate, the student into two groups, Group A and Group B. They have to come to school, not every day. For example, Group A come to school on Monday, and Group B stay home and learn online, study online. Next day, Group B come to school, Group A stay home. We have to do like this, proceed this until 2 months before to solve this problem. As for teacher, they have to provide classroom. They have to provide online classroom, so that the student who's staying home, they can learn from home. Group A and Group B, not the same time. Group A come to school first, Group B come to school next day. Something like this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sakrit. Okay, very clear information. Okay, go to Mas Tristan questions. The question is, where is the recommended place to find good food or delicious food for Indonesian people?
In Thailand?
In the pandemic session in Thailand.
Hello, I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, one more, please. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay. The question is, where is the place or restaurant to find the good food in the pandemic in Thailand right now?
The restaurant in Thailand.
The restaurant in Thailand that offers good food or delicious food in pandemic right now.
When it's come to restaurant in Thailand, but now they still open restaurant, as usual in Thailand. We no need for us to restrict people who coming to the restaurant. However, we still keep distancing in the restaurant. As for people who want to go to eat, out, they want to go to the restaurant, they can go to the restaurant. But however, the restaurant will restrict how many people coming to the restaurant to keep avoid the pandemic, to keep avoid the COVID-19. Something like this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sakrit. The last session, third session, 2 more questions. Come on, you can raise up your hand. 2 more questions. Don't feel shy. Or from teachers, maybe. Teachers also can ask questions. The other teacher or the other student, Pak Munawir or Miss Anna, maybe want to ask about Thailand or pandemic situation in Thailand.
Hi, 7B students. Do you have any questions to Mr. Sakrit, please? 7B. Baby. Mr. Munawir asked you.
Okay, Mbak Baby,
Okay,
please
come on.
ask question, Mbak Baby.
Okay, right now, if there is no students from 7B, so there will be a students who really wanna share the idea or their opinion from 7G. Okay, from 7G, please. Okay, come on, don't be shy.
Come on, 7G. It's show time, 7G. Come on, raise up your hand. You just raise up your hand and click unmute by yourself and then speak up.
Mister,
Okay.
I will ask
Yeah,
you,
yeah, Nasha,
Okay.
please, Nasha, please.
what about the study hours in Thailand?
What
What
about?
about study?
Study hours in Thailand.
What about study in Thailand?
Yeah, study in Thailand. Study hours in Thailand.
You mean that, okay, what about student who studying in school?
Yeah.
Now in Thailand, the school open as usual. The student come to school every day. Now. But however, before getting to the school, before entering the school, they have to be scanned. We're gonna check their hot temperature. Like if they got high temperature, they are not allowed to go to school. They have to go home. Even though they have ordinary fever, we don't let them come to school. When they go to school, we have this thing for wash their hands. For example, they have to be scanned. They have to be checked. We're gonna check their temperature. If they got high temperature, okay, they have to go home. If they don't get high temperature, okay, we're gonna let them come to school. And then the second step, they have to wash their hands. We provide liquid soap for washing hands. We provide the sink for washing hands before getting to the school. When they go to school, we have they have to wear masks. Always wearing masks in class. We don't let them take it out when they're studying. However, okay, but now there is no cases of COVID-19 in Thailand. The government, how can I say, don't be serious, about this too much. That's why, okay, there are some students who don't wear masks sometimes. However, when they study, in class, we normally let them wear the mask in class.
Okay.
And then now they keep going to school and study, in the class as usual, no problem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sakrit. And the last question is from Miss Pitra Kurnia.
Okay.
It is the last question.
Yes, this is a very last questions for you.
You can ask more. I'm willing to answer to the questions.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
the time. I have free time today.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. It's really nice presentation. Thank you for preparing that. And then this is your final questions. After this pandemic, what country do you like most to visit? After this pandemic.
Indonesia.
Oh!
Indonesia, for sure.
Thank you,
I want to
thank
go
you.
to Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay, please.
That is true. I want to go to Indonesia, but
Yes,
now
please.
I feel like we are not allowed to go out of country because of COVID-19.
Yeah, of
That's why
course.
what country I want to visit most now, that is Indonesia. Yeah. I want to go back to Indonesia again
Really?
to
Yeah.
see all of
Nice.
you in SMP
Al-Azhar.
Al-Azhar
Yeah.
26.
Yes.
Yeah. That is true. I'm telling the truth. I want to go to Indonesia. Yeah.
Yes,
I
of
want to
course.
taste,
Welcome.
some Indonesian food. Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
are
love
so
it.
delicious. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Mr.
Okay.
Fajar.
Okay, Mr. Sakrit, that Indonesia has a magnet, Mr. Sakrit, make you addictive to come and come back to Indonesia again. Just romantic magnet in Indonesia. Okay, you can also come to Yogyakarta province to meet our friend Miss Pitra Kurnia in SMP Al-Azhar 26 Yogyakarta after this pandemic, maybe after this bloody pandemic. Okay, bilingual
For
students.
sure.
Okay, finally we come to the end of the presentation. We would like to say thank you again to all the students and to Mr. Sakrit for your informative and interesting presentation to audience, for your active participation. Thank you very much. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Okay, before we end up this session, please activate your camera, students, because there is a photo session, online photo session. There will be screenshot from the administrator of this agenda. Please activate your camera. Okay, all of you, please activate your camera. Okay, Mbak Fasya, Mbak Najwa, Mas Farel, Hans, and Mas Zaki, please activate your camera. Okay, keep smile ya. I count until 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your listening to me today. Thank you very much for
You're welcome,
for
Mr.
your
Sakrit.
listening to my presentation.
Okay, next slide 2. We come to second slide or slide 2. Okay, Mbak Deandra, please activate your video camera. Everybody in slide 2. Mbak Naira, Mbak Shiva Yuniarta, Mbak Suraya Farah, Mbak Kadyota, Hanahza. Okay, I count until 3 ya. Okay, please activate your camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, the third slide, slide number 3. Activate all of your video camera. Mbak Sevira, Faren, Indira, Yuki Safa, Rafif, Yumna, Agatha, Gibran, Elvina, everybody in slide 3, please activate your camera. Come on, everybody in slide 3. Okay, okay, cheers. Okay, everybody, and Mr. Sakrit, thank you very much for your cooperative, and thank you very much for your time today, because 2020 it's not about competition. 2020 it's about collaborative learning, collaboration. So hopefully in the future, in next time, we can collaborate again. We can
for
collaborate
sure.
again, and
Yeah.
with many teachers from SMP Al-Azhar Yogyakarta and many teachers from your school, we can collaborate directly or via Zoom online. Thank you very much. Thanks in million. Hopefully Your presentation will be beneficial for our student and our teachers for sure. Thank you very much.
Pressure.
I end this agenda. Please say hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thanks for your attention, ladies and gentlemen, teachers and bilingual students. Good morning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and God's blessing be upon you all. Keep applause. See you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Saya semua.
Asa barber.
Bye bye.
Bye.